Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are preparing for the ACT, grammar question can be tricky, but don't worry, I've got you covered. Today we are breaking down essential and non-essential clauses. This is one of those topics that shows up again and again, so if you master it, you will grab some easy pointers on test today. Alright, so let's move on and look at an example together. I will show you how to spot the difference between an essential clauses, something the sentence needs, and a non-essential clause, which is just extra information. So, for example, essential clause, students who study every day usually score higher. Here is the clause who study every day is essential. It tells us which students we are talking about, no commas needed. And non-essential clauses, for example, my brother who lives in New York is visiting me next week. The clause who lives in New York is just extra information. The sentence makes sense without it, so we set it off with commas. So, to review non-essential elements, words, phrases, and clauses can be removed from a sentence without affecting its essential meaning or grammatical structure. Non-essential clauses often begin with W words such as which, who, but they can also begin with nouns and participles. So, for example, the Tower of London, which was begun by William the Conqueror in 1078, is one of the largest and most imposing fortifications in England. So, the sentence contains a clause that is surrounded by commas and that begins with the word which. If we cross out the clause, the remaining sentence makes complete sense on its own. So, for example, we can use this one, just we delete the clause, and the Tower of London is one of the largest and most imposing fortification in England. This one is also correct. So if one or both of commas are removed, however, the sentence is incorrect, so we can see those examples. So in order to fix the sentence, you must recognize that it will still make sense if the clause which was begun by William the Conqueror in 1078 is removed. Commas must therefore be added around that clauses. So sometimes non-essential clauses can be very long. In such cases, you must make sure to look all the way back to the beginning of the sentence in order to identify the beginning of the non-essential clauses. You should also be prepared to cross out a lot of information in order to determine whether a non-essential clause is present. So, for example, so we have another example. Just let's look at this example. The city of London, which was originally built by the Romans along the banks of the Thames more than 2000 years ago, contains a number of extremely modern buildings. So now the question asks no change, and so here is the rule. Just non-essential clauses are set off with commas on both sides. In our sentence, the phrase which was originally built by the Romans is just non-essential, just it is extra information. So after the word ego, we need to close that clauses with a comma before moving back to the main sentence. So if you add the comma, it becomes the city of London, which was originally built by the Romans along the banks of the Thames more than 2000 years ago, contains a number of extremely modern buildings. So that's correct. So the answer is the ego contains. So this one is the correct answer. So here is the trick. If you open with a comma, you must close with a comma. So think of commas around an essential clause like opening and closing parentheses. You always need pause. So and that's right. And remember, non-essential clauses are just extra details and they are always hugged by two commas. Use this trick and you will spot the right answer quickly on test day. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe for more ACT grammar tips. Let's keep raising that score.